Hey guys, it is Tuesday. We are going to be reviewing for our test that we're having tomorrow. So, first thing you need to do is take out a notebook with a pencil and start by copying down what's down on the page right now. We're going to start off with vocabulary. There's going to be 5 vocab words on your test tomorrow, and so we're going to go over all 5 right now. If you don't have this written down yet, pause the video here and then resume it once you have this written down so we can get started. Okay, here we go. The first word is violent. We heard the word violent when we talked about, I think it was tornadoes, actually, on our first natural disaster we read about. And the word violent means using force intended to hurt. So meaning when something's violent, it uses a force and it means to hurt something or someone if you're being violent. And violent is an adjective because it describes something. So it could describe a person, it could describe a natural disaster, it could describe an earthquake. So violent is an adjective because it describes. Again, I'm going to go through these kind of quickly. So after each word, you should pause this so you can go back and copy down the definition here. The next word we have is collapse. And we've heard that word before. During earthquakes, many buildings collapse, which means just fall down. Since this is an action, collapse is considered a verb. So again, pause if you need to get this down. That was a word we've been talking about a lot lately, though, so that one should be fresh in your head. The next word is extreme. Extreme is a word that's used to describe a lot of natural disasters. And extreme means very great or very big or very intense. So you would use extreme in a sentence as an adjective too, because it would be used to describe something. So the extreme tornado wiped through our town or something like that. Next one is damage. Damage we just talked about, I think, yesterday, which means physical harm caused to something. And when we talked about damage yesterday, we said it could be a verb because it technically, you could say, I damage my Legos. And that could be used in a verb tense if you're using it like that, because then that's an action. Or you could say the tornado did lots of damage to our town, in which case, like Sophie told us yesterday, it would be a noun because damage there would be a thing. Okay, again, if you need to pause so that you can get this down. And our last word is divide. Divide we talked about when we read our poem about who could somersault the San Andreas Fault. Remember, we talked about there was a divide in the land, which was essentially what a fault is. And a divide, or to divide, is to separate into parts. And this would also be a verb because it's an action. It's something that you're doing. You're separating something into separate parts. Okay, so that's it for our vocab for your test tomorrow. Make sure you go over these definitions. You might have to write sentences using these words. You might have to pick the correct definition for each word. So make sure you study and you understand what each of these words means. This is just part 1 of your review for your test tomorrow. Part 2 is coming up in the next video. So you have gotten it all down, make sure you copy all this down so you can study your notes.